Hi and welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for today. I'm your presenter, Alian Christopher. Let's take a look at the headlines for today. The government of Dominica committed to putting Dominica's tourism back on top. The Office of Disaster Management engages the National Search and Rescue Team in hazmat course. And a military plane with 5 crew members crash in the US. Stay tuned for these and other stories when CBN4's Primetime News returns. We'll be right back.
Sweet talk, dear man, have a lot of that. Yes, sir. You don't know it's your boy Trilogy, urging everybody, young and old, to stay strong and stay healthy. You don't know we're doing it for 2018. Boom.
And welcome back. A new candidate has been elected by the United Workers' Party for the Roseau Central constituency to contest the next general elections, which are constitutionally due for 2020. The UWP announced at its annual delegates convention in Grand Fond that Glenroy Soso Coffee will replace Honorable Joseph Isaac, who recently resigned from the United Workers' Party. Coffee, who has worked with the banana industry for over 20 years, said that his task to contest the next general elections is not a work in progress, but a work in continuation.
And finally, I made up my mind after I was consulted by the Constituency Association. I want to thank them for having placed confidence in me. They feel that I am the man that can represent them. They've come amongst themselves and they have decided that, look, we have found a candidate of interest. And they told me, well, you have to run. And I said, okay, I have to run. I didn't have time to think of it too much because it looked like it was a calling from above. And so, having consulted with a few persons, I then decided to take up the challenge.
So I'm just thinking now, have you ever been interested?
When asked about plans he may have or things he may want to see change in the Roseau Central, Coffee promised that a general outlook will be revealed as to the programs he's looking at to redefine Roseau Central.
In time, I'm not ready to disclose all of what is in the planning stage, but I must say the residents of Roseau, would like to see a better Roseau. I mean, I've lived long enough in Roseau. I was born and raised on River Street, and in certain areas you could still see it as it were years ago. So we have a lot of work to do. Yes. But one of the things that I believe that is very, very important for Roseau is really parking. That parking problem we have in Roseau needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed seriously. But you will hear in the future a big plan with respect to parking and how we intend going about it.
The UWP candidate-elect expressed his satisfaction with the outpouring of love and support he has received across Roseau and across Dominica. He also expressed his interest in representing the Roseau residents in the best way possible.
Once your objective is to serve the people, it's either they make it happen or they don't make it happen. I'm not in this for money. It has nothing to do with monetary. I'm in this for the people. I have no interest in working just to find myself there for money. No, it is not about money, it's about the people. And I can tell you earlier that if my objective is not to serve the people, then I can even forget the idea. But it's all about serving the people. I'm telling you, it's serious, because if you look in Roseau, you will see the amount of guys who sit at the road, at the end of the road or the roadside, And you wonder what is it that they're going to do next day. And I will make you know something too. If you know how it feels when you haven't eaten a meal, then you can well feel what it is like when someone doesn't have a meal. So I know the struggles you will be going through. Many of them are unemployed. Many of them are not able to have a meal. And I want to represent the best interests of the Roseau people. I want to see a better Roseau. I want to see a better life, a better quality of life for the people of Roseau. And I feel when the people will decide that I become the elected candidate, they will see a difference in me.
Coffee confirmed with CBN4 that he has already begun meeting with residents of Roseau Central. He said some residents have mixed reactions, some positive and some negative, but he intends to change all this around for better. Minister for Tourism and Culture, Senator Robert Tong, has assured the tourism stakeholders that all is not lost, and the Ministry of Tourism, along with the government of Dominica, remains fully committed to putting tourism back where it was. Senator Tong stated that despite the false claims heard from the opposition United Workers' Party and false claims from various talk shows, the Ministry of Tourism and the government of Dominica have done tremendous amounts of work, including upgrades in different areas.
They are totally false, and that's why they don't give you figures. For example, after Tropical Storm Erica, we changed things. We got new market representatives. We upgraded our marketing plans again to make sure that our stakeholders are best taken care of. And I dare say to you, for the period January to August 2016 compared to January to August 2017, we had increased the number of stayover visitors in Dominica by over 10%. That is a record for Dominica, Mr. Speaker. And again, it was also confirmed by the Dominica Hotel Association that during that same time, the hotel occupancy rate was the highest it has ever been in the history of Dominica. Excuse me.
The minister further reiterated that despite all of the challenges, the Ministry of Tourism remains committed and will continue to work smart to bring Dominica's tourism back to where it once was. 20 qualified Cuban nurses will be dispatched to Dominica almost immediately to help alleviate the plight of the high-pressure situation currently ongoing in the health sector in regards to the shortage of nurses here in Dominica. Minister Daru said one of the main complaints from the local nurses is that of the high patient to nursing ratio simply because of the shortage due to the migration of nurses, especially after Hurricane Maria. That announcement was made by the Minister for Health and Social Services, Dr. Kenneth Daru, during a press conference held at the Ministry of Health.
It's an immediate problem, and I said immediate because it's not going to solve the medium to long-term issue. We need to continue our training. But in order to solve this immediate need, and I think you need to take note of that, that we, the Minister of Health of Cuba, would have agreed to dispatch to Dominica almost immediately as soon as we're ready for them 20 qualified nurses.
Daru further noted that he hopes that these 20 nurses will have, at least in the first instance, helped to alleviate the major problem. Principal Nursing Officer Terry Ravalier indicated that the request was made for 5 midwives, 5 community health nurses, 2 intensive care nurses, 2 accident and emergency nurses, as well as 6 registered nurses.
I am pleased and happy to know that we have this assurance that our nursing shortage, as it relates to the situation we are presently experiencing, will be receiving an increase in numbers.
The PNO went on to encourage the nurses to continue to think positive. And we'll be back with more news right after this break. Stay tuned.
Sweet talk, dear man, never lot of that. Yes, I. You don't know it's your boy Trilogy, urging everybody, young and old, to stay strong and stay healthy. You don't know we're doing it for 2018. Boom.
Welcome back to CBN4's Primetime News Package. The Office of Disaster Management, with support from the United States Agency for International Development's Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance for Latin America and the Caribbean, is currently conducting training sessions for members of the National Emergency Response Team in Hazardous Materials Incidents First Response Course, other known as HAZMAT. The first course began on the 11th to the 13th of April, with the second course currently the 1st to the 4th of May. Program Officer at the Office of Disaster Management, Donaldson Frederick, asserted that the Office of Disaster Management has been rapidly intensifying its preparedness aspect. One of the ways of doing so is to engage the National Search and Rescue Team in some training.
Components of the training would involve IDA, which is initial damage assessment, as well as hazardous material at the awareness level. So those two components basically work hand in hand. If you have an incident where a number of persons are affected, we will definitely need an initial damage assessment done.
The program officer noted that in this damage assessment, there are a number of factors that will be considered, which will be in the assessment process.
They found out that there may be substance involving hazardous material, and they need to know how to react to it.
The program is being facilitated by local instructors. The Dominica Festivals Committee proudly welcomes Range Developments as headline partners of the 9th edition of Dominica's Jazz and Creole. Range Developments, an investment and hospitality company, is the developer of the 5-star Cabrit's Resort Kempinski at Douglas Bay in the north of the island. Range Developments have indicated that it is proud to support the local economy and promote Dominica's rich culture and heritage. Fine Foods, the biggest distributor for the biggest brands in Dominica, is also pleased to announce sponsorship towards Dominica's renowned Jazz and Creole Festival.
Sponsorship celebrates the unique heritage of Fine Foods Inc. in unity with its supplier Angostura to support jazz music and entertainment. White Oak is one of the most established brands of Angostura product line, and we are excited to partner with the Dominica Festivals Committee to bring a unique event to the island of Dominica.
Walsh noted that Fine Foods Inc. will make White Oak the official rum of the 9th annual Jazz and Creole Festival, while partnering with several bars and entertainment activities in the north. Caribbean will also partner with the Dominica Festivals Committee for this year's Jazz and Creole Festival.
Caribbean, through its agents, Whitchurch, is pleased to partner with the Dominica Festival Committee at this year's Jazz and Creole as we look into continuing our support on small and large events to maintain our presence on the market. Caribbean offers a range of products including shandy, smalter, Mackison, ginseng, and of course Caribbean. Once again, we want to thank the Dominica Festival Committee for having us on board on this signature event.
Another sponsor for this year's festivals includes Rainbow Rentals. And also in the news, Booyah originator Derek Ra Peters insists that the idea of having a Booyah Jazz is automatic. The idea came about by Duncan Stowe in light of the Jazz and Creole Festival carried for May 20th during the recent Booyah panel discussion.
Jazz to me is that's like automatic. That's not really a problem because Booyah is already including jazz, you know, because jazz is already in the mix, you know, just like hip hop, just like rap, like dub, you know, Creole, whatever it is within the mix. So Booyah Jazz, and if you know of the music that I've produced already, I've produced a Booyah Jazz already. So that's to me is like natural vibes, is like clockwork, is like automatic, you know. It's not really a thing to really break your head about. And Booyah has so much potential, you know. That's why it's called Booyah. You know, it don't got Booyah soca, you know. It just a Booyah with soca in it. That's why it is, you know. So now Booyah is the umbrella that shelters all. That's why it is. So jazz falling in naturally.
He went on to say that having a Booyah Jazz album can be marketed, but the proper mechanisms must be put in the right places.
It will be a little bit ticklish and it can be marketed, but now it's putting things in the right place and to get it to move, you know. But to see as if to just make a complete jazz album, like it's like a Booyah Jazz album, it can work. But what I'd say is that, you know, in your making your albums, because, you know, Booyah bands is get towards like all the carnivals, right? And of course, it have other things you target it to, but it's mainly for different carnivals all around the world, you know. So some people call it a carnival music, not really so, you know, because you have tunes like Our Night. Our Night is not really like a jump up song, it's a slow groove, you know. So a lot of people get confused with that. So, you know, it could work. That's the thing, is it could work most definitely.
Do you?
He also believes and stated that it's clockwork. One day a Booyah band could grace the stage at the Jazz and Creole Festival. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more right after this break.
Sweet talk, dear man, have a lot of that. Yes, I. You don't know, it's your boy Trilogy, urging everybody, young and old, to stay strong and stay healthy. You don't know we're doing it for 2018. Boom.
Welcome back. Now with news from around the region, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris has voiced strong objection to the decriminalization or legalization of marijuana in St. Kitts and Nevis. In brief remarks at the launch of the new forensic lab on Friday, the 27th of April, Harris urged residents to reject crime and drugs, including marijuana. According to Harris, the evidence of the effects of marijuana is clear for all to see. Harris acknowledged, though, that the time may come when legalization becomes a reality. Around the world, a military plane carrying 5 crew members crashed earlier today near Savannah, Georgia, officials said. A spokesman for the Georgia Air National Guard said the crash was deadly, but no details are being disclosed until investigators have more information about who was on the plane. The aircraft was performing a training mission when it crashed, the National Guard stated. The plane had been in Savannah for a number of days, undergoing routine maintenance, a report stated. And that has been your CBN4's Primetime News package. On behalf of the entire CBN4 staff, I am Alan Christopher saying thank you for joining us.